Welcome back!
Hello!
Long overdue update.
Yes.
If you didn't know, Victoria's pregnant again.
Woohoo!
She is pretty far along. How far along are you?
24 weeks, turning 25 this week.
And you're turning 25 this week. 25 weeks pregnant and she turns 25 this week. Look
That's
at that!
actually crazy.
Dang!
Wow.
It happens like that.
That's so crazy. Also, this is the first time you've been on the channel in like
In a while.
a year, it feels
Yeah.
like.
But I'm excited to be here and talk to you about baby number 2. Which is, I guess we can just jump straight into it. If you follow us on social media, Victoria's posted about it, I posted about it. We are having...
She just called. She's going to tell us the gender of our baby right now.
Holy crap, I'm so freaking shaking.
All right, he's here. We're ready for it.
Alrighty. So you guys will be having a healthy baby girl.
Oh my gosh! Okay, wow. That is not what I expected. Oh my gosh, thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh! I knew it! Oh my
Can
gosh!
you believe it?
I am freaking out.
Can you put it on you?
Oh my gosh!
No.
Oh,
That's so exciting.
wow. That is crazy.
That is crazy. I did not expect it to be a girl.
No.
Oh my gosh. I really thought it was gonna be a boy.
Oh my gosh. Her name is gonna be, drum roll please, Johnny.
Johnny.
We're very excited. It's
I.E.
I.E.
Johnny.
We've gone back and forth on that. No middle name yet. We want to make it feminine, just because like the name is obviously like not normally a girl's name. So we're trying to find something that makes it a little more feminine. If you have any suggestions, or if you think it sounds good with Johnny, let us know.
Yeah.
We're definitely open to suggestions, but we're trying to figure that part out. But we are so excited. A little girl feels so different. I think this pregnancy in general has been pretty different. We've talked a lot about that. It's been its own thing. I think anyone watching this who has 2 kids, I'm sure you can relate to the like big picture of the pregnancy with baby number 2 is just so much like full on because you have another little kid running around. So I know like for me, for example, like whenever Victoria's having morning sickness or like the things that come with pregnancy, I'm not fully available like I was when she was pregnant with Ellis, because a lot of times I'm like either 1, working, 2, doing something else, or 3, like just chasing Ellis around, which just like that third factor of Ellis wasn't there with the first pregnancy. So I know for me that's been like a huge difference, but I know you've talked to me about like some other things.
Yeah, I feel like the second pregnancy has been, it's weird because my symptoms have been very similar to the first one so far. But then the like everything about this pregnancy is different. For example, like we aren't in school, we have jobs. Both of us are working. We work from home, but we usually work from an office, like a coffee shop office or something like that. So then like leaving the house during morning sickness has been really different. Whereas the first time it was during COVID and we didn't leave the house at all, ever. And so
it was very isolating.
Yes.
Especially for you.
Yeah, for sure. And then also just like little things like my bump came so much faster.
Yeah.
Still people are like, you don't even look pregnant, but like it's crazy because I'll pull up my shirt and they're like, oh, it's hidden. So like I feel like sweater weather has been different because I can hide this bump, but at the same time I love the bump, so I'm like trying to make it show. But yeah, so much has been so similar as far as like symptoms wise, and I guess I can kind of talk about the symptoms that I had the first trimester, and honestly I just stopped throwing up like 2 weeks ago.
Respect to anyone who has been pregnant and goes through morning sickness, because I despise throwing up. And but enough about that. Good on you. Well done, babe.
Thanks.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I think I threw up for 22 weeks straight every single day, multiple times a day. It's
That's
not just
crazy.
morning sickness, as y'all know, it's all day sickness. But I did
Needs a
get
new name.
medication this time because I honestly like got in a pretty negative mind space, and the first time I did as well, but at the same time, like I was coping very differently.
Yeah.
And like Jacoby said, this time we have a toddler, and so it's like I couldn't afford to just be like super down, and like I couldn't sit down on the couch all day and just like watch TV how I did the first time. This time I had to like proactively fight against that like
Yeah.
pregnancy depression or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And so I did get on some medication to help me with the nausea, which in turn helped me with the depression, or I guess just like the mood
Yeah.
changes in
Yeah.
general. So that was a huge symptom. So far, I have not had any itching,
Yes.
which is,
We're praying that stays that way.
yes, if you have been watching our channel for a while, you would have seen with my first pregnancy, I had something called cholestasis.
Yes.
And basically, actually, I don't even want to get into it in this video, but it is crazy, and it's, you find out you have it, and you basically find out you're having your baby like very soon.
Yeah, you did a whole video on cholestasis, didn't you?
Yeah, so you
which is
can
on the
watch
channel.
that. But honestly, it's so hard to even explain. I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I should find out if I have that by the end of like 30 weeks. So I'm like 5 weeks away from pretty much, I should know if I have it or not.
Yeah.
And if I do have it, then the due date of baby Johnny would be February 15th. If I don't have it, the due date would be March 15th.
Which is very different.
Yes, but at least this time we know.
Yes.
Like last time it was literally, I went to the doctor at like 33 weeks.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're gonna have your baby in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Instead of like 2 months, it was 2 weeks. And it was just like, whoa, okay, out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But with that said, everything's looking good so far. The itching doesn't normally show up until the 3rd trimester in general, so even like in general, there's no way to really know if I have it or not.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be any symptoms until my 3rd trimester in general.
So it's kind of a waiting game.
Yes.
But I haven't felt like anxious or like, we always will like randomly ask each other, we're like, gut check, do you think I'll have it again? And I feel like our answer changes all the time.
At first I was like, I'm not going to have it.
Yeah.
Like I had a really strong feeling I wasn't going to have it, but I think as it's approaching, I'm like, I feel like I'm going to have it.
And I feel like I'm the opposite. Like for the beginning, I was like, I think you'll have it just because it's a 50-50 chance. Like for me, I'm like, let's just expect that you're going to have it and be surprised in a good way. But I feel like as we're getting closer to it, obviously like I'm not Vic, so I don't feel the things that she feels. But I remember around this time, like the symptoms felt like they were here or starting, and we're here and it's not that way this time. So I'm being a little more optimistic, and I don't feel like she's gonna have it, but we'll find out. And
we shall see.
Yeah, so we're back and forth on it, but that's kind of the update with cholestasis.
Yes.
And then that obviously is important because it affects pretty drastically like the delivery. But a good part of that is regardless, Victoria has the same doctor who we're super thankful for. We think that she is a godsend for Vic, exactly what she needs, and she's been very like proactive and like listening to Victoria and like just like, hey, if you want to try to test for it, we can. And it's good to know that she knows that Victoria has had the symptoms before, and so we just feel like in good hands with it. So it's like regardless of what happens, we feel like everything will be handled appropriately. So that feels really comforting. But obviously you don't want it. Like it's not something that you want. I think
it's
we
so
laugh.
painful. I don't want it, but at the same time I'm like, oh, to have her a whole month early sounds so sweet.
And like the scheduled delivery date, like that's always
I can't imagine not being induced. I think that's just because I was induced the first time, so it's just I don't know anything other than that. And my first experience being induced was great, I would say. All that to say, I just said it was great, but honestly I'm gonna make a whole nother video on my birth with us in general. I know it's so far behind, but like I said at the beginning of this video, I had a pretty traumatic, like,
Yeah, there was a lot of...
pregnancy/birth with Ellis.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it until I saw a reel the other day, and it was like 6 signs that you had a traumatic birth. And I was like, why do I cross off like 5 out of 6 of those?
Yeah.
I
think it just it gets almost like lost in the like movement of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, and when like, thank you God, like everything is good on the other end of it, it's almost like, well, things are good, like, let's just move forward.
Yeah.
It's almost how I feel like our story was. And then not only until you get like, Ellis is turning 2 next month, which is crazy, that you start to like reflect. And I think also you having another baby, you start to think about like the first experience, and then you start to think like, whoa, like there was a lot of things that could have gone really wrong. And I think those things kind of get lost in the moving forward.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's what you said is exactly what I'm feeling. Like as we get closer to delivery date with Johnny, realizing like how traumatic that first experience was, and how we won't know if I have that again, and if I do have it, how traumatic that could be. Like also just knowing. I think now that I've been through it, I know like all of the side effects and all of the things that come with it, and that's very overwhelming. And like I feel like my doctor did a really good job of not allowing me to like get anxious. Like she's just, I don't know, really she was very good about like helping me stay, I guess, steadfast through that. And I look back on it and I'm like, thank God for his grace and like his comfort, because I don't feel like, when I look back at it, I don't have like a negative like, oh, that was traumatic. But like I think now having another baby, I'm like, this could be traumatic, you know? And so I think that's the scariest part for it, about it for me. But all that said, as of right now, we remain optimistic, and there's nothing to worry about right now. Everything's been good. Baby's, she's measuring bigger than the due date, but I also like don't remember my last period, so in general we're like kind of winging it on the due date in general. So
it'll happen when it happens.
Yes. So people keep on asking me, when's the baby due? I'm like, I think sometime in March or February. We'll see. I don't really know.
Which the potential for the, inducing date obviously throws everything off. But yeah, that's kind of like where we're at with baby number 2. It's been a joy. I think like when you talk about like the differences between like the first experience and then the current experience, like you talk about, I feel like it's easy to remember like not the bad, but like I think it's also important to think like, okay, the things that are different that make it more difficult, like having a toddler running around or having jobs, like it's important to remember and think of those things as like positives. Like it's like sweet to have Ellis running around and being able to...
Wait, can I just say something? Like, Ellis, every time I throw up, literally without a doubt, every single time, he looks at Jacoby and goes, "Huggy mama?" And he runs into the bathroom and will like run into the bathroom and hug me while I'm throwing up. And it's the sweetest thing. Obviously, sometimes it's hard because I'm like actually literally throwing up and he's like trying to hug me and I'm like, oh no. But like, that is the sweetest thing. Like,
for sure.
And that part has been difficult because Jacoby like took care of me so much my first pregnancy, and he has again this time, but it has been different and difficult in our marriage this time, like him not being able to hold my hair back, like, and my hair is short now, so I'm like trying to hold it up because it can't go in a ponytail. But just like little things like that have been so different, but there, like you said, there's been so many sweet moments. Or even now, like Ellis like wakes up in the morning and he'll be like, "Pray, Johnny," and he puts his hand on my tummy and he just says, "Amen."
Yes, he does, for sure.
And like those moments are just so sweet, and we are savoring every moment of being like just us 3. And we plan on like making this Christmas season as beautiful as it can be with just us 3. And we took him on our last little family vacation as just us 3 of us, and that was amazing. And so we're trying to really spoil him and just savor these last moments of
just like the 3 of us,
until which is so
the 4 of
sad,
us,
but also so sweet.
Yeah, definitely, it has its own things. But Yeah, I mean that's our update with baby. We'll try to be better about keeping the updates more consistent.
Yes, we shall try. We don't really have a rhythm or like when we're posting.
As you can tell.
Life is a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so blessed.
Yes.
And we're so grateful for where we're at. So grateful that we're carrying baby number 2. I know so many people long and desire for a baby. So we are praying for you, praying for your family, praying for your husband, your wife, all the things in that area.
Yeah.
Praying for all the single people who want to be mom and dad. Like we really do pray over that. And I have a list of miracle babies that we are praying for. So if you are a person that wants to become a mom or a dad, please let us know so we can add you to that list so we can be praying for you guys.
Definitely.
And we're just grateful that you would celebrate us in this season. And
Yeah, we're excited.
we are.
Yeah. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Yes, thank y'all. And we shall see you guys soon, hopefully.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yes. I know. No promises, but hopefully.
Yes. See you guys.